Men make mistakes, but do they apologize for them? We're going to dive into this today, and we're going to talk about a successful way that whether you're a man or woman, you can apologize when there's been, for lack of a better word, an indiscretion. So maybe he forgot a birthday. Maybe he forgot an anniversary. Maybe he forgot to call. Maybe he temporarily pulled away in the relationship. Maybe he was insensitive to your feelings. Did I mention Valentine's Day? Maybe he forgot about that. So there's certainly times where whether you're a man or woman, you can make a mistake in a relationship. And the real question is, can someone own their mistakes? Do they take ownership of their mistakes? And how to properly apologize is what we're going to dive into today. So if you're not familiar with the book, Chatting or Cheating by Dr. Sherry Meyer, she's a dear friend of mine. She wrote this book. Now, I'm going to share with you the 4 R's to an apology. Now, I know this doesn't have to do with cheating, this conversation, but I want to read the subtitle to you: How to Detect Infidelity, Rebuild Love, and Affair-Proof Your Relationship. So one of the things about this book I really appreciate, it's a great guide to how to create a healthy relationship, including how to have a proper apology when someone screws up. Now, certainly when we think of infidelity, we think of a gigantic betrayal. When we think of lying, when we think of people that love bomb and then completely do a 180, that's a genuine indiscretion that to some degree might feel inexcusable. But they're garden variety mistakes men and women make in relationship. And so I wanted to dive into this today. And actually, I have a personal share with you all in a few moments. I have a personal share related to what could be a mistake I made in a previous video. So what are the 4 R's to an apology? The 4 R's to apology. Can someone write this in the chat box for me, or write this in the comment sections? So first is when someone recognizes that they did something. Now, I don't want to use the word wrong, but I'll say wrong. They did something insensitive. Let's call it insensitive. So first is to recognize. They have to recognize that they did it, because without recognition of it, it's going to be very problematic in relationship if we don't recognize that we might have hurt someone's feelings. So first is to recognize it, okay? Number 2 is to have some level of regret or remorse over the experience, to have some genuine remorse. That's where empathy comes in, when you're actually, when you feel bad for maybe being insensitive to a person, maybe creating a little bit of harm. Now, again, when it's radical, when it's something like betrayal, when it's down and out lying, when it's ghosting, well, I guess it only matters if they come back, if it's ghosting. But if someone even pulls away, I think that's just an insensitive. So number 2 is to have regret and remorse. Regret and remorse. In other words, you can feel it in their heart that they genuinely feel bad about this. Number 3, they take responsibility. I mean, it's kind of in the same vein of recognition, but they take responsibility for what happens. One of the challenges in a lot of relationships today is men and women alike experience gaslighting, where they don't recognize what they did. They have no regret and remorse, and they take no responsibility. In fact, they shift the responsibility of what happened from them to you. The third element of the 4 R's to an apology is to take responsibility. When someone doesn't take ownership for their insensitivity, and again, I'm going to share something radically personal with you in a moment, well, then it's not sincere. And quite frankly, oftentimes we live in a more defensive way of being in relationship, and many people are deflecting when not, again, recognizing that you might have hurt someone's feelings. So taking responsibility. And the 4th R of a genuine apology is remedy. In other words, when you've done something insensitive, maybe you pulled away, maybe you forgot to call, maybe they or you forgot a birthday, maybe you were insensitive to the other person, is you're going to endeavor to not do that again. You have a remedy. You have a desire to improve upon it. You want to fix it. That is the elements of a successful apology, is when there is recognition, regret or remorse is the second R. There's responsibility. And lastly, there's a remedy. And so I just want you to remember that for your own life. And again, I got this from the book Chatting or Cheating. There's a link below to all the books I recommend. Now, you don't have to read this book for the infidelity part, but the Affair-Proof Your Relationship is a great, the whole back of this book is an excellent way to create an awesome relationship so you never have to feel worried. It's all about building trust, and that's what this is all about. So I'm going to share something with you personal, and that happened on a video I did 2 nights ago. So I did a video 2 nights ago, and we had a guest come on, not a guest, but a person joined the love seat, or the hot seat, we should say. And I gave her some advice about the dynamic that she was in. She was in a long distance, hour and 45-minute situation. I gave her some advice, and I got this following comment. I'm going to read this out loud, and I want to share with you the emotional effects of what came up for me in this particular comment. So I'm going to read it out loud, and the comment goes like this. The remarks and questions about the Las Vegas roulette were really condescending and belittling. Like a 40-year-old woman doesn't know where Las Vegas and gambling is. And the mockery of couples engaged in long-distance texting was truly insulting. How many hours of self-help and spiritual work have you done to proclaim to have done this? Obviously not enough. Because clearly none of us are as enlightened as you, Jonathan Aslay. You're an arrogant and passive aggressive with women. You have difficulty stifling it. It seeps out in toxic goo. So that's what she wrote me. I want to be candid with you. When I read that, that deeply affected me. I deeply had an effect over this experience. I felt like I'd done something wrong, that I made a mistake. And it really beat me up internally. I'm going to share with you. It really beat me up internally because, oh my God, what if she's right? What if I did all those things? And I processed that for a moment, and I responded back with the following. I responded back is, I'm not perfect. I proclaim this frequently that I'm not perfect. And folks, I say this habitually. I'm not perfect. I'm merely scratching the ant's belly for personal development, and I make many mistakes. I can always do better. If I was harsh, I didn't mean to hurt anyone, and I appreciate your feedback. So that's what I wrote back to her, and she wrote something back. But before I read what she wrote back to me, I decided to watch the video, the portion of the video. And I went back and I watched it, and I looked at and I analyzed my behavior. I tried to do this objectively. Again, it's hard to be objective of your own work, but I really wanted to take ownership because I had remorse over what she shared with me. I had a response. I had some real genuine remorse if I hurt someone's feelings. And many of you know, many of you have come on the hot seat before. I can be a jackass. I recognize that. I have regret over that. I have remorse over that. I take responsibility, and I've tried to be better. So I recognize that in the past, and certainly I'll share with you my opinion about what happened in a moment, I can be a jackass. I'm going to own that. Does that make it right? No. I think the reason why I sometimes can act like a jackass is that human beings do some ridiculously stupid things. I'm sorry. I'm just going to own it the way I see it. Human beings do ridiculously stupid things. And I think when I see what I believe is stupidity, it triggers my own anger at my own stupidity. I'm going to own it. I sometimes look at others' behaviors and I go, it's really my if there's any toxicity, it's because I'm really reflecting on my own stupidity. Sure, I've done stupid things. I'm not here to profess myself as the most enlightened being as a dating and relationship coach. In fact, I use the dating and relationship conversation to encourage personal development, self-help, and spiritual work. I'm working on self-love myself. I'm not here to profess I'm the best at this. I will never do that. I'm here to just encourage individual empowerment. Now, some might say, well, Jonathan, your crass behavior doesn't help empower people. I don't know, because I get so many compliments from others, from people who follow my work, and certainly my individual clients. I just had an intense coaching session with a client today, and she was practically crying with appreciation at the end because I helped her uncover something that was very difficult for her. So I know that when I work privately, I can be incredibly empathetic. I can be more sensitive. But when I shoot my videos, I can be a dick. I get it. I do this with my son too, because he's a reflection of me. Oh my God, folks, I can't tell you how many times I've been a dick to my son. And it's usually I'm a dick and then I call him up and apologize 5 minutes later. So coming back to this video with the woman, and I'll post this video. I'll post the video. I'll do a clip of the hot seat interview. I rewatched it and I was condescending for just a tiny second. Now, I could be wrong. I invite you all to look at it. The original title of the video was the video was called Men Over 50 Who Chase Sex Don't Do This. And at the 36-minute mark is when the woman came on. So if someone wants to write that down, you can go back and view it. It was 20 minutes long. It was called Men Over 50 Who Chase Sex Don't Do This. It was just a couple days ago. It's at the 36-minute mark. And I watched it again and I'm like, yeah, I was a tiny bit condescending for just a second about the gambling, because I thought she was playing roulette with her life, okay? And someone jokingly commented it was Russian roulette. So this is what that woman responded back to me after I wrote her. She goes, Jonathan, I've been listening to your channel for a while. You have no filter. You are the first one to howl if someone leaves a negative comment. Knowledge without kindness has no practical application. You have a highly critical and judgmental nature. You are surrounded by women here who stroke your ego constantly. But if you don't start walking the walk, I guarantee you will remain single. No duct tape here. Okay. First off, I am radically grateful for all of those of you that support my work. So I want to just acknowledge that. So do I think she's right? I do believe a tiny bit was condescending, and I certainly have been a jackass on previous videos. So I will recognize that, okay? Sincerely, I will tell you, I have genuine remorse over if I've hurt anyone in the past. Please, I'm requesting some forgiveness. If I've ever hurt anyone who's watched one of my videos, you're probably not seeing this, but I have genuine regret and remorse if anything I have ever said to anybody ever in my life. I'm sorry. I'll take ownership of those moments in my life. I do my best to take ownership. I take responsibility for that. And many of you who have been watching my channel for a while know that I've been shifting from the hot seat to the love seat. I've tried to be better. Have I been critical of long distance dating? Abso-fucking-lutely, for some really justifiable reasons. Have I fallen into the trap of long distance? Yes. Do I claim to be the most healed person on the planet? No. Do I do the work? Every single day, folks. I'm going to tell you something. Inner work is not for the faint of heart. Inner work is not for the faint of heart. Okay? And I work on myself every day. I am not the most enlightened being. I make mistakes. And today, I'm apologizing to anyone I've ever hurt on my channel. I certainly recognize that I have. Listen, sometimes I can be a little hypocritical. I'll own it. Okay. I recognize that. I can sound hypocritical. Do in my own love life, do I make mistakes? Absolutely. I have done things, even to this day, but I will tell you who I am today compared to who I was 15 years ago is radically different. I know that about myself. So I'll take ownership of that. But again, coming back to this woman's response. Now, do I think she was projecting some venom on me? Absolutely. It was a projection. It was a judgment. I'm going to call that out. Okay. I think there's a mirror of what's going on. And that's the other piece of this. This is a projection coming from her. I'm going to take ownership of some part of what she's projecting on me, but there's a lot of projection coming from her. She might never take ownership of that. That's her journey in life. But I'm going to be candid with you, folks. When a person genuinely gives you an apology, there's recognition, there's regret and remorse, there's taking responsibility, and lastly, they do their best to remedy it. And that is the sign of a person, I believe, who's more emotionally mature than the average person out there. Is this sinking in? Is this resonating with you? Please let me know if it is. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Post a comment below. As always, if you find value in my videos, please hit that like button. Please share this video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of new videos. Don't forget to do it on your phone as well. Also, if you want to connect with me directly, there's links below to schedule a discovery call with me. There's links to join my group called Midlife Love Mastery. There's a link to follow me on Instagram. There's all kinds of links that you can check out my work.